So now I'm very excited because one of my most anticipated movie of the year has finally been released. I know it's a weird times and a lot of people don't want to go to the theater. I get it. I totally understand that. But that's what I'm here for. I'm taking it for the team. I'm doing this for you guys. I'll put myself in harm's way. I'll risk going out there despite COVID to see if this movie is worth it or not. That being said, should you go to the theater to check it out? So you put yourself in harm's way for Nolan's latest? Obviously you should. And with that, I'm welcoming to another episode of The Romancer. My goal, as always, is to enhance a movie watching experience. So Tenet, Christopher Nolan's newest movie. Now, full disclosure, I'm a huge Nolan fan. I like practically everything he's done in the past. I know he's considered one of the best directors. Some people like him, some don't. I get it, it happens. But for me, there's one that I was really looking forward to because of Nolan. He's one of those few directors that, yeah, he's a great director from a technical standpoint, but he's one of the few that not only gives us, particularly lately, original stories that he comes up with. He's not sequels, it's not another superhero film. He's done that, I get it. But as of late, he's tried to present his own ideas on the screen. But he does it, but he packages these original stories in this grandiose, big scale, blockbuster feel, but still maintaining something challenging for the viewers. His contents are very heady, very complex, and you don't really see that more often, and he kind of melds the best of both worlds, and this movie is no different. Now, I'll keep this totally spoiler free because, to be honest, I don't think I understood the whole thing from beginning to end. I get the gist of what he was trying to do. And don't get me wrong, even if I did understand it completely, I wouldn't explain to you guys because the less you know, the better. The trailer was very vague. And again, this is another, you're going to hear comparisons to Inception because it's a spy thriller in the same vein as Inception with this interesting concept. And like in a lot of his movies, he has this theme about time, he has to play around with time. We've seen in Memento, Inception, Interstellar, for example, Dunkirk even. So this is, again, another exploration of that aspect of which he seems to enjoy so much given to you. And again, he does it in a very complex way. And that could be good or bad depending on the viewer. But let me start off with what I really liked. Obviously, from a technical perspective, this movie's great. The visuals, the cinematography is fantastic, the music's great, the sound design, and I like where he's kind of firing on all cylinders. Because my complaint with Nolan, particularly early on, was how he filmed action, particularly fighting scenes, wasn't the best. Very choppy, unfocused. He's kind of honed that skill and become much better at it. Where in this movie, what really shines is the visuals. It's the action, the huge grand set pieces that he creates, and even some of the fighting scenes, the way he shoots them now. Single cam is not jumping around, which he was used to before. You can kind of see the action, and that's important with action films. And again, the action is fantastic. This whole, and you hear the concept with this inversion. You hear in the trailers with this manipulation of time, going backwards and forwards, etc. It's really cool how it's presented, and that it's worth the ticket, the price of admission just for that in itself. So even if you are confused about what's going on, which is quite possible, you're gonna get some really cool shit on screen. Now, John David Washington, of course, plays the lead here, and he's working for an organization trying to stop the end of the world. And he teams up with Robert Pattinson's character, the new Batman coming up, who's really cool. Elizabeth Debicki is also in it; she's really good. Kenneth Branagh plays the villain; he's good as well. Everyone comes to play here. It's again, my only issues with the film are within the story. I don't think it's, it's hard when you're someone like Nolan because you're always competing against your own work, and he's had some stellar work, whether it be Inception or The Dark Knight, Memento, Prestige. So every time you watch a Nolan movie, you're just bound to compare it to one of those. You can't help yourself. I don't think this movie is one of his best. I might say maybe middle of the pack, maybe a little bit towards the higher end of his top 5. I'll have to see it again because this movie does warrant other viewings because, again, you do kind of understand what's going on, but some concepts you're like, whoa, wait a minute, wait, what? I think I get it. Maybe I don't, but I think I do. And I think a lot of people, that might turn people off. If you're one that, like Interstellar, people were confused about, I get it. Inception, people, didn't quite understand it. I get it. If that turns you off, this movie is not for you. If you don't mind being challenged while seeing some big grand spectacle, like in a somewhat blockbuster, shell, this is the movie you need to watch. It's really good. Is it one of his best? No. But it's a great film. It's very entertaining. Again, challenging. And I always say that my biggest gripe was, again, the concept wasn't as cool as far as something like Inception. It wasn't. I think the presentation of it lacked some stake. I didn't feel that the stakes were there for me in terms of what they were trying to prevent. Some kind of robotic, and I heard the term cold, and I'll agree with that. It doesn't have that emotional kick that his other movies had, like Interstellar, Inception had it, even the Dark Knight had it as well. Prestige. This one kind of lacked that, and I think that's why I put it in the middle of the pack. It was lacking that little bit of passion, and the stakes. I didn't feel the stakes as much as I probably should have. But they're not huge gripes. All in all, it looks great. It's incredibly entertaining. Very challenging movie you're gonna have to watch a couple of times. You may have the patience for it, maybe you don't. But if nothing else, I think there's one that's gonna really spark conversation amongst your friends about how much understood, what the end of the movie really meant, etc., etc. So from that standpoint, I absolutely recommend this film. You guys go watch it. If you're a Nolan fan, I think you're gonna be all in. If you're iffy about Nolan, again, you want to see some cool shit, go watch it. If you're worried about something like COVID and or don't want to deal with the mental headache you might get after watching the film, sure. Take a step back and watch it at home. Either way, I think you guys should definitely watch this film. So Tenet, you guys are going to watch it. Comment below, let me know where you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.